Hello, everybody. I'm really excited today to talk to you about employee engagement. But before we dive in, I want to start with a quick story. This story is about a man I grew up with, and in order to keep his confidentiality, I'm just going to call him Jim. Jim worked in the same field for over 25 years, 18 of which were at the same company. While there were times Jim really did enjoy what he was doing, the stress of his job was taking a toll on his life. Some of the people Jim had to work with were toxic and made his work environment difficult. Jim often felt unappreciated and as though his hard work was not being recognized. Jim had to work very long hours to keep up with the high demands of his job and became addicted to caffeine to get him through the day, and then relied on NyQuil at night to fall back asleep. Jim would often catch himself daydreaming about other jobs and would sometimes even look at other openings. But there was a level of prestige to his position that he did not want to leave, and no one could even come close to matching his current salary. Over the years, Jim began to experience terrible dizzy spells and chest pains that would lead him to seek medical attention. He had difficulty concentrating, and by the end of the day, often found himself feeling emotionally drained. Whenever Jim could, he would escape from his reality by playing video games or watching TV, which made it difficult for him to be there for his friends and family. One day, Jim was out taking a walk down the road when it struck him that if things in his life didn't change soon, it would only be a few more short years until he was dead. But Jim felt trapped and locked in by his golden handcuffs. This is a tale of disengagement in the workforce, and unfortunately, it's a very common one. How many of you can relate to some aspect of Jim's story? Or how many of you have known someone or has been someone who's wanted to quit their job? The sad truth is that a large percentage of the American workforce is disengaged. In fact, a Gallup survey revealed that 70% of workers are not engaged in their jobs. 70%. Take a moment and look around you. If that statistic holds true for this room, that means 7 out of 10 of you are not engaged in your jobs. That means 7 out of 10 of your family and friends are not engaged in their jobs. It truly is impacting so many people. But what are the symptoms of disengagement? What can we be on the lookout for? Well, we saw a few of the common ones through Jim. There's that difficulty concentrating, feeling emotionally drained, but there are some other subtler signs of disengagement I want to bring to your attention. As we talk about these, I want you to think about yourself and your coworkers to see if you recognize any of them. When employees are not engaged in their jobs, they may often arrive late to work or try and leave early. Some will take as much sick and personal time as they can get away with, so they don't have to show up to work at all. Others waste significant amounts of time, causing work to get done poorly or not at all. Others withdraw and become unsociable. Some start declining extra work responsibilities and just do the bare minimum they can. It truly has become an epidemic, and its consequences are severe, not just on us, but also on companies. When employees are not engaged in their jobs, companies end up having a lower productivity rate, a lower profit, lower customer ratings, and a higher rate of turnover. It is in fact estimated that disengagement is costing us between $450 to $550 billion every single year. Its consequences on individuals is equally as disconcerting. When we're not engaged in our jobs, there can be a severe impact on our mental health. When employees are not engaged, when they start a new job, they are 2 times as likely to be diagnosed with depression or anxiety within their first year of work. There are also physical or health symptoms that the stress of disengagement can cause in the body, such as weight gain or the cardiovascular issues we saw with Jim. Disengaged employees often end up feeling drained, burnt out, and at a loss for what to do next. So what is causing this epidemic? Why are so many of us not engaged in our jobs? This is something I've been personally studying here at the University of Wisconsin-Green Bay over the past 2 semesters through my honors project. Through my research, I have learned that the most widely known cause of disengagement is poor management. It turns out that when managers actually focus on their employees' strengths, disengagement can be practically eliminated. Unfortunately, however, this is not a leadership style many of our managers have decided to take on. Along with that, feeling invaluable or unrecognized or unappreciated can also cause disengagement. The Chicago Tribune did a study where they asked people, why do you like your job? And over 30,000 people listed the reason as because they felt genuinely appreciated at their company. When was the last time you can honestly say you felt genuinely appreciated at your job? It is vital that we show people that they are valuable to us. If you're in a job that doesn't fit you, that can also drive disengagement levels. It turns out it's not only important for us to like our job, but we actually have to be good at it too. When we're in a job that matches our abilities, interests, and talents, engagement levels are driven upwards. Personalities, ethics, self-beliefs, all of these things can also impact engagement. There are many factors. But what do you do about it? What do you do if you recognize disengagement in yourself or in others? Well, if you're in a position of leadership, you need to take a stand. You need to talk to your leaders, survey your employees, get people in the appropriate roles, and show them that they are vital to the success of your company. Or, if you recognize disengagement in yourself, then talk to your managers. Take that step. See how you can get more involved or connected. Or, if your job isn't a good role for you, then just update your resume. Look at applying elsewhere. Don't allow yourself to get trapped in a job that does not engage you. I want to circle back and finish telling you the rest of Jim's story. Jim eventually ended up leaving his job, and when he told me about it, he said it was a difficult decision, but the toll it was taking on his life was no longer worth it. Jim now works in a job that wouldn't be considered nearly as prestigious, and along with that, he took a pay cut of over $20,000 a year. Nevertheless, Jim is more engaged than he has ever been. Those health problems I told you about? Gone. Those depressive symptoms? Gone. And Jim's overall happiness has increased. Jim's work is recognized as high quality, and he is often put in charge of large projects and training individuals. He is known for his positive attitude and his can-do spirit, which is truly what an engaged employee looks like. You see, when we're engaged in our jobs, we are enthusiastic. We're excited, we're involved, and we are connected, and we're willing to do the hard work that it takes to get a job done well. But before this could happen for Jim, he had to break free from his golden handcuffs and not let himself be held back anymore. So what's holding you back from being an engaged employee today? Are there any life lessons that you can take away from Jim? If you're like me, you are a few short months away from graduating, which is both terrifying and very exciting. I hope that as you're on the job hunt, you don't look for that job with the perfect salary or the perfect hours, but you look for something that's going to give you passion, that's going to engage you. If you're in a job right now and you recognize some of that disengagement, I hope that you learn from Jim and don't wait 20 plus years to leave a job that doesn't engage you. Because it's not about the money. Money and benefits will never replace engagement in a career, and you deserve the true happiness and satisfaction that comes from being an engaged employee. Thank you very much.